And we are live. Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, partner. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well, doing well.
Good,
So
good, good.
let's give a few minutes for folks to join us.
And
Um,
we hope you will because Teresa and I got up early for this. So if
they
we
don't
can
hear
do it,
you,
you can
child.
do it. You can do it. Huh?
Yes, you can do it, but they don't hear us because they're not there.
Okay. All right.
We have someone with us, Lou.
We
Someone has
have someone
joined.
in the studio. Thank you for joining us. We
So
appreciate it.
yeah, I don't know how to tell who joined, but we have a
Well,
person.
maybe you can't tell because it's like tab at the background. Maybe that ain't your business. I don't know how this works.
Oh my gosh, you are a rare form this
It ain't your business. I don't know. I'm all out of my element, but I
we
feel
both
so good this morning. I slept
I do
well.
too. I do
Yeah,
too.
getting a good, nice rest. Doesn't it make all the difference?
Oh, it absolutely does.
I mean,
It
it does. It does.
absolutely
Yeah,
does. And if
yeah.
we could figure out, how to do that consistently,
I
we
know,
know we
right? Yeah,
then
yeah.
every day would be like
My,
that. But I make it a
my
practice.
life,
I
my life
try
would
to
be
make it a
full.
practice that Friday night is my night. Friday night is
Really?
Friday night is the night that I get in the bed and I try to get at least 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only night I can do it because Saturday morning, my first appointment isn't until 9, so I
Yeah.
can sleep in. So I try to every Friday night
Well,
get
yeah.
that rest.
Well, I've been having some challenges with sleep because, you know, we're in the NBA finals and I'm up late watching the games. And when it doesn't go the way I want, it irritates me and I don't sleep well. And I'm serious, I have some issues. I might need to
Wait a
go into
minute, that
therapy.
is an issue. I mean, it's your
Yeah,
business, right? But
I
that's
get
an
that.
issue. You're
I
doing that to
get all,
yourself.
I, huh?
You you're doing that to yourself.
Well, but I have to watch, and now I'm getting doing the same thing with the WNBA. And Nasheed told me, he says, "So, do you ever have a off season?" I said, "Not really. I'll be going into football season soon." So anyway, all of that. But
Yeah.
Teresa, are you? What time is it? Are you ready to get started, or
We're
give a few
ready.
more?
We can get started. We have 2 people
Okay,
now that
okay.
are watching us. Good morning and welcome. Let's go ahead and get started, Lou.
Okay, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Earrings Off. Teresa and I today, we are going to talk about what to do when motivation disappears. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my partner, Teresa, who made sure she understood the technology and everything so that we can do this. And I'm excited about that. But also, I think she might have set me up. I'm not sure. She doesn't usually do that. But we were trying to decide what we were going to talk about today. And I thought we were on the same page. But then this morning, now, remember, I said just this morning she switched up on me. So if it looks like, Lou is a dunce and doesn't understand anything, then I want you to blame that on Teresa because I really didn't have time to prepare. And I don't want to say it was intentional because I don't think she's that kind of hater, but it doesn't usually happen with us. So it's a little suspect. But anyway, here we are. So again,
Lou,
the topic
Lou,
today.
What did you
What?
tell me? Zen, go with the flow.
Well, that's part of it. I am going with the flow, but I'm being my authentic self to let people know, okay, I'm going with the flow, but if it doesn't flow quite as well as we want it to, you can blame Teresa for that. So here we are. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about, like I said today, what to do when motivation disappears. Yeah, that's our
Yeah.
topic. Yeah.
Has it ever happened to you, Lou?
Oh my Lord. Yeah, it happens, And I mean, I think everybody, of course, if you're human, you go through that. There's no question about that. But I recently felt that, I felt not really motivated. And my thing was, with this move, you know?
Yeah.
And there were so many different layers to it. Actually having to there, I was telling she when I would talk about something, I'd say we're on step number 5 or step number 7 because I'd broken it up like that. And but it did, if you thought about it all at one time, it was very easy to feel overwhelmed, because there was just so much to do. So for me, I find, it's difficult to be motivated when it seems like there's so much to do, you know,
Right.
and it's just
Right.
a
Right.
lot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty common because that's exactly where I am. Not a move, but I
Right.
have so many irons in the fire, as they say, right now, and it's hard for me just to do anything. It's overwhelmed because,
Right.
there's so much on my calendar, so many things that are due, work is busy, you know, earrings off is doing its thing, the
Yeah. Yeah.
family, I'm in the sandwich generation. Do you know what that is, Lou?
Teresa,
I just
you really, yeah, Teresa, I've been telling you that for a year. What do you mean you
wait
just
a
heard
minute,
it?
so you were the one who told me that. I
I've
knew
been
somebody.
I've been saying, Teresa, you're in that sandwich generation. You're in
Yes,
that sandwich generation.
it
So
is
yeah.
real. It is so real right now, Lou. You're
Well,
right.
explain to people what that is in case they don't know.
So the sandwich generation is where I have children and a mom and parents that I'm taking care of, that I'm responsible for. And I'm right in
Yeah.
the thick of that. My mom needs, support. My children need support. And it's just a lot when I already have this busy schedule. As I mentioned, earrings off, work,
Yeah.
social clubs and activities, right? And it's
Mhm.
just a lot going on right now. So what I feel when it comes to motivation these days is that I just want to shut down. It's overwhelmed. I just want to go in a corner and turn everything off and just be still.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what happens is anxiety when I wake up the next morning and I should have checked some things off that list, my to-do list. It's like, "Oh my god, now it's a rush to get things done."
Yeah, yeah. And see, for me, I'm not in the sandwich generation. I'm not dealing with what you're dealing with because sadly, my parents have passed on, and really, most of my aunts and uncles that you sort of keep up with and try to support. But for me, it's still you don't have to be in that generation to feel overwhelmed in terms of relationships and responsibilities because you have other family members and friends that you care about. And, Teresa, as we get older, health things start cropping up with not only family, but with friends. And so you're trying to be supportive and supportive in the community. So, yeah, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But for me, for me personally, what helps is like what I described earlier. I try to break things down into some manageable pieces. If I can just get through step one, I don't have to be concerned about step 10. Let me just try to organize step one and execute that well and be comfortable where I am in that step. And then I can advance. And of course, you know, that may not work for everybody, but for me, that's sort of what keeps me motivated is just bite-sized pieces, you know?
Well, no, Lou, I think you've hit on a great point there because even with me, like I mentioned, I might check out for a minute and then
Yeah.
I'm having anxiety about getting things done because I've procrastinated a bit. But once I check off something, it's like I start to feel better, right? And it's like a almost
Right. Yeah.
like a dopamine
Yeah.
hit, right? And I
Yeah.
feel I get that I get that encouragement to keep going, right? Until it happens again.
Right.
Until it happens. Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And um, everybody's different. Like when you and I have talked about um, even challenges for us in terms of working out because we're human. Most of the time you're feeling it, but a lot of times you're just not for whatever reason. And some people like if I spoke with somebody recently and they had some big event and some outfit they wanted to get into. And so that was their motivation for working out because they had a goal. And so that's more of an extrinsic type of motivation. That's something external that you're trying to do. But when you're doing it just like for yourself or because you have something that you want to feel healthier or you want your lab work to come out in better shape, those are things that we're doing sort of for ourselves, an intrinsic type of motivation. So it just depends. Like for me, if we're talking about exercise, then I just know that it sort of has a snowball effect that if I work on it day or whatever my schedule may be, that there will be some benefits that I am seeking at the end,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
that, yeah. So, it's not, like I said, we're human and staying motivated is, can be a challenge, particularly when you talk about, Teresa, what you referenced earlier, just being overwhelmed with things. And also, like for me with the move, when I said I broke it down, I just kept thinking about, okay, when I get through these steps, I'm going to be in my place. I won't be looking at boxes. There won't be a constant reminder that there's something for me to do. I'll actually be able to relax and be in the place that was my goal to get to. So, and that's where I find myself now, amazingly. Yeah.
yeah, there is a motivational speaker and author, and I'm trying to think of her name right now. But
Mhm.
she has this kinda I don't know if you call it a mantra or a thing when you get into these states of not being motivated.
Mhm.
Number 1, she says, "Just do it," but it's like count backwards from 5, I think it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do it. And don't think
Mhm.
about the fact that you don't wanna do it, just do it. You get it done, and then, like I was saying earlier, you have that
Yeah.
that dopamine hit, and then you're more likely to keep going.
And
So
see, that's another piece of it, just being disciplined.
oh,
Because
that
yeah, some
that is
people, it's
huge.
almost like they are, it's almost like they've been trained in the military or something, but they
Yeah.
know, okay, on this particular day, this is going to happen. This is my routine. And it's almost like not thinking about it. Then they go into that zone where they're doing what needs to be done. I'm not like
Yeah.
that, but I do have friends and know people who are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like that, and I envy people who are like that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but, some of the things, to recap what we've discussed. So, I've heard overwhelm, that was me. Another
Yeah.
big one, this is right in my wheelhouse too, unfortunately. Fear of failure or rejection, looking
Yeah.
for the perfect, expecting the perfect, like
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah. Teresa, I mean, that
It's
is your
just
thing.
it is hitting me, right? This is like, who knew,
Yeah,
right?
you have high standards, and yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
too, what you've done, what you did for your move, like that is, I'm listening to you and hearing that you had like a 5-step plan or 7-step plan, however many
Yeah.
steps. That's amazing, because the other thing that will kill motivation is not planning. No clear plan, you know?
Well,
And
yeah. My thing, that I am a planner. I
yeah,
had lists, all kinds of lists. I had
yeah,
lists of what needed to be done. I had lists concerning the finances, the
yeah,
projected budget. I did all of that. And
yeah,
yeah. But that, like I said, we operate differently, but that gives me a certain comfort level when I
right,
see it written down and I see that there is a plan to it. That makes me feel, that takes away some of the anxiety, because it's almost like it's like GPS. I just got to follow the roadmap. If I
yeah,
follow the roadmap, I'm going to get to that desired goal. And so, for me, having that roadmap helps. It takes a lot of time, but you have to be willing to deviate, you know, like GPS. Sometimes you got to reroute. You got to think about, okay, that goal that I set a year ago, what factors have impacted my life that may require a bit retooling for me
right.
to think about, maybe I've got to make a change. It doesn't mean that I failed. It doesn't mean I'm not committed. It means that I have accepted the realities of my life, that things change, and you don't beat yourself up over that. So I
Yeah.
think that's part of it, is just being comfortable with that.
So we can put that right in the category of how to not get stuck or not lose motivation, and if you get stuck, how to get unstuck. Planning and
Yeah.
executing the plan is what I heard you say, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
and then
agree.
like and then for me it would be, each step celebrate. You have to celebrate the tiny wins. Like if you want to get unstuck, find
Yeah.
if you're having a lot of trouble and you want to do this, is accountability. Get someone else
Yeah.
involved and let them know what your plans are. And if you aren't executing, ask them to help hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
another tool that folks use to get unstuck is the our visual tools. For me, Lou, I use sticky notes on my bathroom mirror,
Mhm.
and that seems to work. Like if it's something I know that I have to
Yeah.
get done or that I need to be preparing my mind for, I will put reminders all over the place to keep me focused on that one thing. So that help. And some
And
people use vision boards and like
yeah.
a progress tracker, you know, just small things to just help you stay motivated.
Right. Right. And Teresa, I want to go back to your point about maybe get other people involved. And then what I say to that is maybe not get other people involved, in terms of, don't compare yourself to the folks who are posting and telling you all the great goals that they've hit.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, yeah.
don't get caught up in the social media frenzy about, somebody that's maybe earned the degree you want to earn or moved into the neighborhood or even took the vacation. That that can sort of be self-defeating at times because
Oh, yeah.
that can sort of take you out of your groove and make you feel like, well, you know what, I'm not there yet, and I'm not where I should be. I know sometimes I look at, when they give the different categories or diagrams of where you should be financially at your age and all of that. I used to look at those and think, okay, I'm not there. But you can't let that seep into your spirit as well. Be cautious with that kind of information because whether you realize it or not, that can impact motivation because it can
Oh,
make you feel like, you know what, I'm such a failure or I'm not there and there's no chance in hell I'm gonna get there the way it's going. So be mindful of that as well. Yeah.
right, right. That's a good point, Lou. That is a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so go ahead.
we are just trying to make sure at this point that we are being our authentic selves, that we are creating goals that are ours, that are not dictated by society, that are not dictated by people who may not know our story, because goals are dependent on our story. And like I said, where we may be at that particular time. So it's not to, but also not to let us off the hook in terms of I can't do this, or if it's we made this goal the end of December that okay, I'm really gonna start working out and come up with this plan for the new year. Be careful with that. But when I say be careful, that doesn't mean don't do it. That
Right.
doesn't mean that you shouldn't aspire to improve ourselves and improve our health, but it just means that maybe sometimes you take a pause and not be impacted about all the ambitious goals of others, but see what your true goals are and what you, because I've had to do that recently, Teresa, when I think about, is this even something I wanted to do? Or is this just a carryover from times past or something that I was thinking about at that particular time? So, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all good, and what I another point that I'd like to make that I think we were saying, um, I had this thought while you were speaking, actually,
Mhm. Mhm.
that motivation doesn't really lead to action. It's the other way around. Taking action leads to motivation.
Yeah, yeah. And Teresa, earlier this week, you and I talked about the story I read in the Charlotte Observer about the physician who recently had a baby and the complications that
Oh,
she experienced being a Black woman, even though she was a physician. She was misdiagnosed and had a heart attack, and thankfully now is doing fine. And Teresa, you and I have talked many times about the challenges for Black women in terms of our health care and being able to access appropriate health care. And we did a show in COVID about the impact on the community, how many
mhm.
members of the community we lost. You and I were directly impacted. As you lost your brother, I lost my sister. And so when we talk about being motivated for our health, that's a very real thing for us in the community to just try to be more intentional about what can we do, even if it's just taking baby steps. I was telling someone the other day who was saying, I just don't feel like working out. And I was sharing with her, can you just maybe walk in place for 10 minutes? Can you maybe start there and just build up? So when we talk about motivation, we can't be overwhelmed by our own responsibilities, and we can't be overwhelmed by what others may be doing, because that may not be where we are.
Right. I will say this. Health is so important to me that even in my lack of motivation, I still find time. I still work out. I think that is a discipline for me. I'm disciplined in that area because that's a non-negotiable, a non that is something that has to happen because I know how important it is. And, I
Yeah.
know what the alternative is for me, right? This is for me. Like, if I don't work out, I know what that looks like, right? It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I don't want to see it, right? I want to be
Well,
healthy. I want to sleep well at night. I wanna be able to click on all cylinders when I have all of these tasks on my list, right? All of these
right,
items to take care of on my list. And you can't do that. I mean, I should speak about
right.
myself. I can't do those things when I've not worked out, right? So,
Well, and Teresa, you said that it's been a long time since you've seen the impact of not working out because you're so disciplined. And usually I'm right there with you. I have not either, because I too keep to my schedule. Remember, I told you I have a workout calendar that I'm quite proud of, that I map out every time that I work out. And the only time it's not mapped out if I'm somewhere on vacation or something. I give myself a break sometime, and but I put on there on vacation, and I put the whole time that I'm on there because I've given myself permission to not work out. But Mrs. Hot Pink says it's non-negotiable. Yeah.
it is.
So in the chat, it is. But while I don't usually have that, I'm very disciplined as well, and you know that. But I did have an episode recently which showed me the importance of it. When I moved here, I've shared on the show that one of my challenges has been not finding a hot yoga studio near me. And,
Right.
I work out a minimum, I do hot yoga a minimum of twice a week, sometimes most weeks more than that, but definitely that's my minimum, is twice a week, and that's 90 minutes in the heat. But that I found years ago, I've been doing it 9 years, that helps me. But when I moved here, remember, Teresa, I said that this yoga studio was about 40 minutes, the one that I wanted to go to. There was one closer, but they didn't do the style of yoga that I prefer. And so I really haven't done yoga consistently in about 2.5 months, you know?
Right, right.
And so I went back this week. I just said, listen, this is for my health. If it's 40 minutes, it's 40 minutes. I got to suck it up. This is my medicine, and I got to take it. And for me to take it, I got to go in there. So anyway, so when I went back this week, Teresa, it was really almost startling. My balance was so off. I missed almost 3 months. My balance, things that I used to do, and my poses, I would just topple over. My balance was so impacted by that 3 months. And I know it's because I have not been there.
Right.
And balance is so important, and particularly as we age, in terms of falling and keeping us safe. And even if we start falling, being able to correct so that we don't cause serious injury, all of that's important. And I was, I knew what it was. I haven't been there, but to actually have that kind of reminder that I
Right.
am not doing this to be doing it. This is about my health.
That's
And
right.
I wish I had a video of that. I mean, because I was sort of startled by how much my balance was impacted in that amount of time. you know?
That's real talk.
So,
That's real talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So,
So
Lou,
if
I know this has been such a great conversation, but we're up
yeah.
on time. So, thank you to everyone watching. Now, whether
And
you're
thanks particularly to Mrs. Hot Pink, who says we have to sacrifice. Yes, we do. And thank you for joining us and for your comments. I tell you, so appropriate. Yeah.
so whether you're stuck, stalled, or starting again, this is your reminder. You are not broken. You are human. Motivation ebbs and it flows, but you can always restart. If this was
Yeah.
helpful, please drop a comment in the chat. Share one takeaway or tool that you're going to try to keep motivated this week. And if and we'd love to hear from you. So um thanks again. Click the subscribe and give us a give oh, I don't know why I'm stuttering now. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up and share this with your friends. Let them know we're going to be coming back around live at least once a month on Saturdays, but we are a podcast, Earrings Off podcast. We post every Sunday. This is the first time for us to do live, and we're giving this a try, and we'll be back hopefully next month, as I said. And remember, you're not stuck. You're just getting ready to move. Let's do it.
And we're excited about your movement. Again, thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay motivated. And as long as you're breathing, make sure you live. Take good care.